Hi guys, welcome to the Improved Garage. So today I'm going to go over how to fix one of the common flaws with this car, which it's really the only common flaw that I'm aware of on this car. So this is a 2020 Mercedes SLC300. From what I understand, this problem happens between all 2016 through 2020, which was the last year they made this, and previously on the SLK that came before that, which I think was like 2012 to 2015 or 2010 to 2015, something thereabouts. So on these C-pillars, so this is a convertible, and the entire roof folds together so that this is laying this side down inside the trunk, and then this is folded on top of it, and there's basically a hinge here inside the trunk. And that all happens on top of like a foam or a felt cover that is under the trunk. And it gets a little bit of a rub mark right here on the top of the, I guess these would be the C pillars, even though this car doesn't really have a B pillar, it's kind of built into the window. On the top of the C pillar covers here, it gets a rub mark right up here. So you have two options really, well, three options. One, you could just get over it. Number two, you can replace these. They simply unsnap. So if you take this and you grab it by the bottom, you can unsnap it. There's snaps up both sides. I'm not going to do it right now just because I don't want to break any of the snaps, but it comes off relatively easily. You can buy the covers. I will put a link in the description to the covers, or it'll give you the part numbers at least for the SLC, but they're about 80 bucks a piece, so it's like $160. So what I'm doing, and what I already did on that side, is wrapping this in a black vinyl wrap, because a black vinyl wrap is significantly less expensive. I know it's going to wear again, and honestly it looks the same with the black vinyl wrap as it does with the normal plastic cover. So again, there'll be a link in the description so you can just kind of watch. But this is a piece of black vinyl. I ordered this from Amazon. It's 3M Super 2080. And I'm not a wrap guy, so like I don't know the latest and greatest when it comes to wraps, other than, you know, hearing about like DDE talk about a Nosatec all the time. But I bought a roll that was 12 inches wide, and it was 5 feet long. And I just cut off a piece of it that was a little bit longer than what I needed here, and then I kind of cut it in half. So I've got a strip here that's 6 inches wide by a little bit longer than what I actually need. And we're going to install this here to cover up this piece. In terms of tools, there's one thing that I'll recommend is that you have a hard card. So this is a 3M PA1, a blue card. There's also white cards as well. I like the stiffness of the blue card personally. You'll see that I have this on the bottom, this yellow. That's something called a banana buffer. It's one of these things. Again, links in the description to all of this. You don't need this. You could do this with a credit card if you had to. But this is what, you know, a professional would use to do it, or one of the tools that a professional would have in their arsenal to do it. And I happen to have these from back in the day when I used to do signs and tinting and that kind of stuff. So I have a little bit of experience with this, but I've never wrapped a car. I just want to put that out there. I think that anybody could do this and do it successfully. So, you know, if you have a white card, which is one of these, it's an Avery, or you have a blue card like this one, or, you know, one of these tools, like there are a variety of different tools that you could potentially use to do this. And I think you could pick these up at most hardware stores, like in the paint section, like you can use like a putty. Like I know that you could pick up a similar card to this at Walmart in like the section where they sell the Bondo and that kind of stuff. That would just be like a plastic card. The first thing after you kind of cut it to size, which I already did here, but I just cut it with standard scissors, is we want to clean up the area where we're going to stick this. This is Armor Panel Prep. This is my favorite panel prep right now just because of the smell. So we're just going to go over this, wipe it, make sure that everything is nice and clean. And when we're done, it should feel clean. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I use a drying aid or a spray sealant when I'm done washing the car, right? So that leaves some sort of like gloss and protection behind. I want to make sure this sticks. So we're going to start off by, we've got this wiped down. We're going to take this and we're going to peel it back. Some professional wrappers would just pull the backing off and stick it on there. I tend to be a little bit more reserved when I do these, just because I'm not like the best in the world at it, and I'm not very practiced, but I'm gonna be similar to you. So I'm gonna zoom in here on this area. I'm gonna try to stand out of the way while I do this. And what we're gonna do is we're going to peel the white backing off. And we're just going to line this up here so there's overlap on both sides. And I'm going to take this and I'm gonna stick it to the car up here, okay? And then I'm going to peel this off, and while I'm doing so, I'm gonna push down using my hand. Now, there are wrap gloves that they sell. That might actually be kind of a useful tool. I've never used one before, but I have seen them. Like if you watch, you know, like Daily Driven Exotics, you'll see like the guys that are wrapping their Lamborghinis and stuff like that using those. And you'll see that I actually need to turn this a little bit. So one thing about this car wrap is it's pretty forgiving. So take that. And also we have extra. And for what it's worth, the roll that I ordered was like 20 bucks. And it's enough to do this entire thing probably 3 times. So we could just say that we solved this problem for significantly less money than what we needed to spend. And get this out of the way. And all I'm gonna do is just push this so that we've got this whole section done. Now this is shut and it's out of the way. So the whole thing is covered. I'm a little close to the edge on this side. I wish I was a little bit more centered. Maybe you want to start from the bottom and go up. You know, just give me a break. I'm doing this on camera. This here is an Olfa knife, or a snap blade knife, an 11mm snap blade knife. We always call them Olfa knives because Olfa makes the blades, or well, they make the best blades, at least in our opinion, at the sign shop when we were doing these, or the car stereo shop that also happened to make signs. So I use these black Olfa blades, again, link in the description. This is actually a Husky knife handle, but they all take the same blades. So what we're gonna do is we're going to cut the kind of the center in this gap around the edge. What we're basically doing here is we're going to take this knife and we're going to put it in this valley. And I like to hold it at a very long angle like this. So not steep where it's up and down like this, but more where it's laying down like this. And that's going to keep you from applying too much pressure to the tip and scratching your paint below. So we're just gonna go through here. And then like that. And then we're going to, same thing across the top. Just gonna split the difference. And then here. And you might be slower than I am, but you kind of get the hang of it the more you do. So we'll peel this off here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, well folks, so this actually has a clear coating on it. So if I take a piece of this vinyl, there's actually a clear protective coating that goes over the top. And that's to make it so that like when you're squeegeeing it with your card and you're kind of scratching the vinyl, you're not really scratching the vinyl, you're scratching this clear film that is on top. So I just accidentally peeled that off. That's not something that you want to do. So cut it all the way around, pull that off, and make sure that you are careful, not like I was. So we're gonna do this anyway. I might end up redoing it, and if I do redo it, then I'll record that one instead. I will take my heat gun. This is a Milwaukee heat gun. You don't need a Milwaukee heat gun. You can buy at the shop, we used a Harbor Freight gun. And you basically just want to heat up the edges and then use the side of the card to push the wrap under the panel. So you can kind of wrap around the edge, and then when you're done, you just kind of go like this down the side of the panel. So I'll show you that again. We're going to wrap like this, pushing around the edge, and then once we go around the edge, we're going to go down the side like this. So I'm kind of wrapping it around the side of it, right? The heat helps to make it stick and stay stuck. Vinyl also, many of the vinyls are self-healing, so if you do put some minor scratches in it, some heat can help you to take those out. But just push this all down, and then once you get a side down, you can just kind of run under the edge like this, get the whole thing. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And this is where I think the gloves could be nice, because one of those gloves might keep you from burning your hair on your arm with your gun. So I'll heat up this bottom edge here. Sometimes when you heat, you're going to get a finger, and if you do, it'll look like a little lump. You can just kind of push it out. This vinyl was designed to breathe. At least a little bit, and let air pockets out of it. And then put that back. I would say we want to pay extra attention to your corners. Make sure that you get those nice and wrapped. And when I'm done, I just kind of make a run all the way around the edge at that angle like I showed, just kind of like this. I'm just tucking that under that bottom edge. You know, and obviously, like, you could probably pull this panel off and you could wrap it a little bit better. Maybe you could like superheat the vinyl with a heat gun and then just kind of like push it into it like they do with mirror caps and stuff. But I don't really think that's necessary here. I mean, this is a pretty simple, pretty standard wrap. So now that I'm kind of done with it, what I normally like to do is just heat the whole thing. And what I'm looking for when I'm heating this is just to see if like any fingers form, any parts where I might have had some light scratching, putting a little bit of extra heat on that to see if it heals. You can also polish vinyl, but it's probably not necessary here. So if you did this all day, every day, I wouldn't want to use the Milwaukee heat gun. The Milwaukee heat gun is really cool for something simple like this. It's nice and portable. It's great for, you know, heat shrink butt connectors and electrical work and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want to use it to wrap vinyl all day. It doesn't output enough heat, and it also eats batteries like crazy. So back in the day, I would have used a glass cleaner for this. But now we have rinseless washes and waterless washes. So this is that spray bottle has Absolute in it. It's not that Absolute's my favorite, it's just like, it's there, right? And that'll work perfectly fine. So we're going to just hit this with the towel, make sure everything looks good, see if we have any scratches or linting or anything like that. And it honestly came out pretty good. So ideally, you would do the whole thing that I did with the edges and get all that stuff done, and then you'd peel the clear off. And, you know, I was able to successfully do it on camera without having to worry about that. But, you know, that would be the best way to do it. So that's all. I mean, this is a good way to repair this problem. Obviously, you know, it's probably going to rub off again. It's probably going to be an issue in the future. It probably is going to come back. We've had this car for 4 years. It's got 30-ish thousand miles on it. She puts the top down almost every day. Like, it's down a lot. Probably, maybe not every day, but probably more than 50% of the car's life, it has had the top down. So I would say we're pretty excessive users of the convertible piece of this. So, you know, you might go 50, 60,000 miles and never see this problem because you don't put the top down on a regular basis. You might see the problem happen more often. If I had to rewrap this in another 2 years because this wore off, I'm totally cool with that. You know, obviously I could replace these pieces of plastic. When you're talking about the cost of a Mercedes, you know, $160 for 2 pieces of plastic doesn't seem like a tremendous amount of money. For any other car, it would be a tremendous amount of money. Like, you know, on my Honda, that's probably 30 bucks, but it just is what it is. It's got a Mercedes-Benz logo on it, so there's the Mercedes-Benz tax, of course. But at the end of the day, this has been a really solid car for us. We've had practically 0 issues. I've done all of my own maintenance. It's been to the, since we owned it, it's been to the dealer 1 time. And it's just been really, really solid car. So we plan to keep this for the foreseeable future. Doing this minor fix takes care of that thing that is annoying for me. She didn't even notice that it happened, to be honest with you. I pointed it out to her the other day and she's like, oh, I never saw that before. So you might have a similar situation in your household. I just decided to take care of it, and you know, it was like, do I really want to spend $160 on 2 pieces of plastic that I know are going to get ruined again? Or can I just do this simple fix? And this film matches the piano black of the car really, really well. I think it's the same color as what's below it. Like I said, I did one of them about a week ago and she's just been driving around. Everything's been fine. So the other one's now done. And I have enough extra vinyl to do this at least 1 more time, probably 2 more times, honestly. And I overshot on every angle when I did this. So for 20 bucks to fix this problem 2 to 3 times, you know, it'll definitely buy me a couple years. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll have a great day.